The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. We've been seeing a relatively lower average of new infections in the country, but the health department says this could still be an artificial decline. To tell us more about this, we have Greg Gregorio reporting live from Mandaluyong. Greg, good afternoon. Are we still not seeing the impact of the two-week ECQ in the NCR Plus bubble?
Yes, Charles, according to Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere, we still need a few more days before we can see the total impact of the recently implemented enhanced community quarantine over the NCR Plus bubble, as well as the continuing implementation of the modified enhanced community quarantine. This, as the Octa research mentioned, that we are now having a lower reproduction rate of 1.01 R0 over NCR, which is lower than the 1.9 R0 way back before we have implemented ECQ. Undersecretary Vergere explained earlier that we may not be seeing the complete data yet, as we are still seeing some artificial decline due to laboratory non-operation and non-reporting. Charles?
All right, thanks for that, Greg. Do we have any other explanations as to what is actually causing these reports of artificial declines in the reporting of cases? And apart from this lower average, are we also seeing a rise in recoveries?
Yes, Charles. First on the artificial decline, the Department of Health is saying that last Sunday, 19 testing laboratories were non-operational, while 4 did not report data because mainly because of disinfection and recalibration of their machine, which is an acceptable reason for them to maintain accuracy of their report. But the DOH is requesting these laboratories to at least make a 12-hour non-reporting or non-operational, so that the data will not be greatly affected. And on the recovery, the DOH is saying that we are seeing more numbers of recoveries since Monday, because they are now daily reporting time-based recoveries, unlike the past weekly reporting that the DOH is doing. According to Vergere, this is to show more accurate data of the COVID-19 situation in the country. Vergere also explained that as the number of cases is increasing and most of the cases are mild and asymptomatic, it is also logical that we are seeing more number of recoveries among our patients. Charles?
Right, Greg, do we have any updates on the Health Department's investigation into these rare cases of blood clotting due to certain vaccines?
Yes, Charles, according to Vergere, experts are continuing investigation on incidents of rare blood clotting among vaccine recipients of Janssen's COVID-19 vaccine, as well as AstraZeneca, because in relation to Janssen Pharmaceuticals COVID-19 vaccine, less than 10 or around 7 incidents of rare blood clotting have been recorded abroad, and that is also the reason why the Food and Drug Administration has recommended the Department of Health an inclusion of new guidelines for us to use the COVID-19 vaccine of Janssen Pharmaceutical here in the country, which was recently given an emergency use authorization in the Philippines. Charles?
All right, Greg, we have additional good news coming in from Russia. Supplies of the Sputnik V shots are set to arrive in the country soon. How are authorities prepared for its rollout and distribution?
Yes, Charles, it's indeed a good news. According to the Department of Health, 20,000 doses of Gamaleya Sputnik V is arriving in the Philippines within the week. According to the Department of Health, they are preparing for this kind of vaccines, or they are prepared for this kind of vaccines, as Gamaleya Sputnik V is requiring a negative 18 degrees cold storage requirement. But according to Undersecretary Vergere, this has been planned, and we are doing simulation now for us to make sure that no errors will happen once the remaining doses of Sputnik V vaccines will arrive in the Philippines. Charles?
Thanks for that, Greg. That was Greg Gregorio reporting from Mandaluyong. The COVID-19 reproduction number in Metro Manila has further dropped to 1.01. That's according to the latest data from the Octa Research Group. In an interview with Cito Beltran on Agenda, Octa's Guido David says the momentum in the region has been declining since the imposition of ECQ in the NCR Plus bubble. Should cases further decrease, David also said that it is possible for us to loosen quarantine restrictions. However, the expert said we have to wait for the full effect of the MECQ before jumping to any conclusions.
Ngayon, it's been just a little over 1 week ng MECQ, and I think we have to give it a little more time. Siguro sufficient na yung by end of April, which is next week na rin naman. We will know yung full effects ng MECQ. If the momentum or direction does not change, I think we can confidently say na sustain natin yung gains natin during this MECQ, and we can then we can look at our options.
One private hospitals group says emergency rooms have been slightly decongested, but hospital beds remain fully occupied. On one PHS sa Totoo Lang, Private Hospitals Association President Dr. Jose De Grano said occupancy of emergency rooms has eased as some patients were transferred to temporary COVID-19 facilities in their LGUs. De Grano also said that the one hospital command and other facilities must accommodate more mild and symptomatic patients to free up hospital beds for those in more critical condition.
Dumami po yung mga isolation facilities, dumami po. Kaya talagang instead na yung mga mild and asymptomatic ay magstay sa hospital na mas kailangan ng mga pasyente na mas severe cases ay yun po nalilipat sila doon sa mga TTMF po ng mga COVID patients. Umaabot po yan ng mga around 2 weeks, 14 days bago ma-discharge. Kaya hindi agad talagang ma-replace ka agad yun o mawawala yung mga laman ng ating mga COVID beds.
De Grano also noted that private hospitals are still struggling in terms of manpower. He said some nurses from private hospitals have resigned to join the health department and uniformed services during the pandemic. However, others have left the medical field altogether for jobs in the call center industry.
Well, yun na nga po ang ginagawa ng government ngayon. Kumukuha sila ng nurses from Visayas at Mindanao. Pero yung nadala po nila recently ay dinala po nila dun sa mga government facilities din ng na nandito sa Metro Manila. Halos wala pong mga taga rito sa Luzon talaga kasi yung mga taga Luzon po, ang karamihan diyan nag-abroad na rin eh.
Over in the U.S., former police officer Derek Chauvin was found guilty for the murder and manslaughter of George Floyd. The 12-member jury found Chauvin guilty of all 3 charges against him, second and third-degree murder and manslaughter, after just 10 hours of deliberation. Activists and reporters celebrated the verdict in George Floyd Square around the intersection where the 46-year-old black man died last year, with his neck pinned to the street under Chauvin's knee. Floyd's death renewed protests in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, leading to massive demonstrations across America and around the globe.
Well, I think I'm definitely still processing the emotions. I don't think it's hit me quite yet, but I'm overjoyed. I'm very happy because this morning I didn't have no hope that this man was even going to go to jail. And I find out he's gone. He got all 3 counts.
I feel as though this makes us unstoppable. I feel like the fact that we were able to secure justice for George Floyd means that we can secure justice for every black person who was killed by police. And now we're looking to justice for Breonna Taylor. We're looking to justice for Dante Wright. We're looking to justice for Tamir Rice, because black people do deserve justice.
On now to some news on football, as the planned launch of the European Super League has been suspended. This is the culmination of a dramatic 48 hours following the announcement of a breakaway league aimed at rivaling the UEFA Champions League. This rogue competition, which was announced on Sunday, would have seen 12 clubs break away from UEFA's Champions League and Europa League competitions. But all 6 Premier League clubs, which originally planned to join the league, then announced plans to withdraw from the competition by Tuesday. Chelsea and Manchester City did so earlier in the day, and Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Tottenham followed suit later that night. In a statement, the Super League clarified that suspended does not mean canceled, and the league said they will recalibrate their plans for the project as they remain convinced that the current status quo of European football needs to change. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.